Jay Finning here, and I want to tell you guys about 4 Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4 Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any maker model on the road. Their truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. And if you need a tire and wheel package, head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitters today. So visit them online at 4Wheel Online or call them at 813-769-2451. Again, that's 4Wheel Online, the number 4, Wheel Online. This is the Hard Parking Podcast, Other Side of the Wheel, brought to you by Wright Honda out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Coming up on today's show, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine here as Arizona's Highlight of the Week. I'll tell you a little bit about my opinion on the new, I guess it's new to me, the TLX. But first, we had a comedian pass, Norm MacDonald, which some people know of and weirdly some people don't. But we are joined by world famous, you guys know him as the hillbilly with the NSX, and his friends call him Chris Cuck.
What's going on, man?
First off, thank you for taking the time to come back on this show. I know how world famous you are because of your your NSX. And I'd asked you this on social media the other day. I wonder how many people see your shit and they're like, fuck you, I did it first. Because you do give people, I think, a lot of shine by posting pictures of other vehicles with half their models as trailers.
Well, I'm not famous. Nobody knows who I am. My car is well known. Although yesterday I was in Home Depot and some guy recognized me. He's like, "Oh, you're the guy who with the NSX trailer." So sometimes people recognize me, but
that's cool.
Usually it's just the car.
Yeah, I had something like that happen to me back when the car was wrapped. I was at a McDonald's in the middle of literally nowhere, and the guy walked up. He's like, "Hey, I've seen your car on YouTube, Gears of Gasoline, man. That's so cool. And can I take my family out there and show my son and take photos?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, go ahead." But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking badass.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling when people give you credit and stuff, you know?
It's kind of humbling too, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, as I mentioned, Norm MacDonald passed. I've always thought he was hilarious, although I haven't really watched as much of his content as you would think for someone who thinks he's hilarious. But you had a really cool Norm MacDonald story, and I thought you should come on this podcast and share it. So tell us about your Norm MacDonald. And first, tell us about Norm MacDonald, what you were doing there, watching his show. What are some of your favorite memories?
Well, I, like a lot of people, didn't know who Norm MacDonald was. And then my father had shown me something once that was just hilarious, where he was on a talk show and they kept asking him questions, and you can't like say the word cock on TV. So he just kept like screaming cock. And I thought it was the most hilarious thing ever, because he has like such a dry sense of humor. And it was just the way he did it was hilarious. And anybody who's listening to this should try to find that clip of him doing it. Also, I think a lot of people don't know who he is because they don't pay him any attention because his sense of humor is so dry. Like, a lot of people don't get it. And then there's a clip of him, I believe, on Conan. It's the moth joke. So people should look that up as well. And I think that one joke kind of sums up who Norm MacDonald was as a comedian.
Yeah,
but
he stayed the course. Like, he didn't fold for anyone. He's like, "I'll be an asshole."
And it was brilliant. Really, it was great because he was so funny without like trying at all. So I really started to like Norm MacDonald, and I live in Connecticut, and we have Foxwoods Casino here, it used to be the largest casino in the world. I think it's like the second or something. I don't know, but it's absolutely huge. The Foxwoods Casino, it's like a little city. It's like a city indoors. You can get lost in there.
That's crazy.
And at the time, my girlfriend, now my ex, we got tickets because I go to the casino often, so they'll send me free tickets. So we got free tickets to go see Norm MacDonald. I actually just got some. I got a pamphlet in the mail like a month ago, so I wasn't planning on going to see him, but now I'm sad that I won't be able to. So I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we went to go see him at Foxwoods, and apparently he frequents Foxwoods a lot as well, which is probably why he does so many shows there. So we went to go see him, and the show was great. And at the end of the night, me and my ex were walking around the casino and playing blackjack, and we're walking down this hallway, and we just bump into Norm MacDonald, and he's by himself, just walking around, like wandering around. And so, of course, I went up and I introduced ourselves and said we were big fans. And he was lost in the casino trying to find blackjack tables in the hotel. So we helped him find where he had to go.
How'd that conversation go? Like, hey, good to meet you. Where the fuck am I?
Well, to tell you the truth, all three of us were hammered. But I guess that was a thing that Norm did. He would go to the casino and he would have fun and play blackjack. But I met him and he was a nice guy, and I'm glad I got to meet the guy.
That's awesome, man. That's a really cool story. I always think about him and Billy Madison is one of his loser friends. And, he would frequent the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz, which is my favorite sports podcast. And I've heard him on Adam Carolla before. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but he's one of the voices of death on Family Guy.
Adam Carolla is?
Adam Carolla was, and so was Norm MacDonald.
Oh, I didn't know that. No. Although I confess I haven't seen every Family Guy episode. I've seen a few of them. They're great. I should watch more. Every single one of them I enjoy watching them, but I don't know. It's just one of those shows I never binged watched every episode.
Me either, but it's been a long time. But I think he was on there a long time ago.
Yeah.
Him and Adam as just different voices, because they kind of, him, Adam, and Gilbert Gottfried are all kind of on the same talking cadence in voice
Gilbert
pitch.
Gottfried is absolutely hilarious too.
Yeah, it's
you can get him to say there's a I think it's called Cameo.
Oh yeah, the Cameo thing where you can pay them some money and give shout outs and shit.
I believe Gilbert Gottfried's huge on it. But
what's new in your world? When are you doing your road trip? When are you coming down here?
Well, I was supposed to be in California on the 18th. I am behind schedule. I'm obviously not making it there, which is probably a blessing in disguise, because I would have basically had to drive straight there and I wouldn't have been able to stop and see people. But we had that Hurricane Ida, I think it was, that came through. And I had just put a property for sale. I'm just trying to simplify my life and I want to get rid of the place. And I went over there. I did a lot of work, fixed it up, spent months fixing up this property. And then that hurricane came through, about a week ago now, and it flooded everything. So I had about 14 inches of water in my garage, and I don't have any cars in that garage or anything, but in my garage, in my yard, in my basement. And it wasn't just the water. The water isn't a big deal. It's the mud that comes with it. So,
I never even heard that take on that, because I'm thinking, oh my God, it comes, it doesn't change my opinion that really sucks for you and everybody else, but I didn't even think about the whole mud aspect.
Well, so my house didn't get it that bad, and comparative to relative to my neighbors. But the thing is, I got my property cleaned up, and it would be ready to pretty much be sold again, except for the whole neighborhood looks like a hurricane went through it, because one did. So my neighbor's driveway got washed away. Their furniture, it hit the first floor on some houses, so their furniture is out in the front lawn. So I don't want to show the house like that, because anybody who comes to see the place is just going to lowball me. So
right, they're like, "Oh, I thought this was a nice neighborhood."
Yeah, exactly. So
did you see Rob Ferretti's shit got flooded? And he lost a lot of cars.
I feel for him. I didn't have any cars at the property, but that sucks.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, so that has put a damper on my schedule, because I had to go back over there and clean up and everything. So. But right now, I've been doing weight reduction on the NSX, going out there every once in a while in the middle of the night and just cutting metal out of the thing. I got about 8.5% of the body weight taken off. So it was 790 pounds. Now I'm down. I just took off 67 pounds, I think, of metal. It's a
big difference.
So it's a lot of aluminum to take out for a little bit of weight.
It is a lot of aluminum to take out for a little bit of weight.
So then now I have to basically re-add weight to it, because I want to put a floor where the engine bay is. But that's all I have left, is I have to put the floor in, which I cut out the metal last night. And then I have to put the windows in. And then there's little things, I have to do some waterproofing and whatnot. But then I'm ready to go cross country. So my plan is, because I'm not able to go to the event on the 18th this month in California, I canceled for that. I'm going to try to make it to H2O. And then I'm thinking I'll start my trip after H2O.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you when you get here. You better get here, because it seems like this keeps getting postponed.
Yeah, it sucks. I'll be there.
We'll have to get you in studio.
Yeah, we'll grab a drink, grab some food, whatever.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
All right, man. Take care.
It's time for the Arizona Ride of the Week, brought to you by Higher Quality Detail out of Tempe, Arizona. They specialize in premium vehicle protection solutions and cosmetic customizations as your one-stop shop, ranging from basic detailing options to ceramic coating, paint correction, protection films, and more. Visit Ceramic Pro Arizona, one word, on Instagram, or Higher Quality Detail, that's HYAR, also one word, and get started looking your best today. Today, I brought my friend Jared Legendary into the studio. let me go ahead and set the table for you. So today is my grandson's 3rd birthday party. Party started at 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bounce house, everything. They came and picked up the bounce house at 7. Jared and his wife Victoria walked in at after 10.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell me why the fuck it took you so long to come to my house?
Just working in the garage. Then wife gets off work late. So
I thought you guys got off at like 5 or 6.
yeah, usually. Yeah, that's when
You walked in after 10.
Yeah. We're always fashionably late, right?
Fashionably late. So Jared drives a Porsche, but there's a little bit more to his story. So first off, welcome to the Hard Parking Podcast studios.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So it looks like you have a Dos Equis lime and salt, and you have some food in front of you. Did you bring a fork?
Nope. Just
Is that like a chalupa shell?
It's a lamelo tostada, but I'm just going to
Tostada. Yeah. I think, you know the difference between a tostada and chalupa?
want some Taco Bell.
I think a chalupa, it may be with the, what's the pita bread?
Yeah. Like a crispy or.
I just Googled it real quick. No, not necessarily, but it's not. Yeah, I guess so, but it's not hard.
No,
so tostada is hard and chalupa is soft. Okay. So we got that out of the way. Tell us a little bit about your Porsche.
Well, it's 2012 991.1, just a naturally aspirated Carrera S. So yeah, I just got this as a kind of like a spoil myself gift. Was just buying older cars, working on them. Just didn't want a car payment. Then drive around and sell them. And then wife's like, "Why don't you get a good car?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll look for an M5, M6."
A good car.
Yeah, that's how she says it. Good. So get an M5 or M6. So I was looking at those, and then found one. And then she's like, "Why don't you just get a Porsche?" I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, I don't need to haul around kids or nothing anymore."
Hold up. Then did she say get a Porsche or Porsche?
Porsche. She said Porsche. She said Porsche.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
what do you do for work?
I'm a mechanic at BMW.
How long have you been at BMW? And it's like in Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, North Scottsdale, BMW. Been there for 21 years. Long time.
Any BMWs? You ever had a BMW?
Yeah. I had a E39 540 6-speed. Dining it all out. I love that car.
Where's that car now?
It was in a trade-in lot somewhere.
Did you trade that in for the Porsche?
No, I actually traded in for a Sequoia.
Oh.
So yeah, it was on this last leg. I bought it, had like 40,000 miles on it. I tracked it hard. Like I would go autocross, I'd beat the crap out of that car. And finally it's just after, 260,000 miles.
Okay.
It needed a little work and I just didn't want to fix it anymore.
So I've been kind of beating up on BMWs lately.
Uh-huh.
Now I just did a review on a 2020 BMW 330i xDrive, which I actually enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I tore the interior apart a little bit on the review, but I've kind of beat BMWs up for having electrical issues over the years.
Yeah, over the years, yeah.
Yeah. But you have a Mustang too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I have a 68
Why don't you tell us
fastback.
about the Mustang, yeah.
That was actually my first car. Just a basic fastback 289. Found it sitting in a lot. Picked it up for $2,000 when I was 15 years old.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, me and my dad worked on that for a little bit here. And then, he did all the paint on it. And then over the years, just went through a bunch of engines, transmissions, and it's not stock at all. I mean, since there was nothing special about it besides just being a fastback, I just modified everything. And it's, customizing cars. You change one thing, you got to change 5 other things to make that work.
Facts. Wait, hold on. So you said you picked it up when you were 15?
Yeah. My dad actually found it.
And just for the record, since you're not a woman, I can ask, how old are you now?
I am 41.
Does the Mustang work?
It does. It does work.
I've seen you bring it to Chandler Cars and Coffee before. But with the Porsche, how are you feeling about the old Mustang now?
So when I first came down here, I was 18, I had it as a daily driver. It got some abuse out of it, and
sure.
Got hit a couple times. So I need to get that fixed.
Hold on. Hit a couple times. I can explain.
Well, one of them wasn't my fault. Actually, both of them were my fault, regardless.
Right.
So one was one. I actually let my roommate borrow it to go pick up one of his friends to get his other car anyways. And he rented a truck. So I was pretty upset about that. Another time, a lady made a U-turn and just tagged the back quarter panel of it and slamming, hitting the curb, bending the axle, the rear end. So or whatever. That's why I don't drive it as much because I know how it was, how perfect, I loved it the way it was. And now it's damaged. So, I was waiting for my parents to move down here, which they have now. And now once my dad gets his shop done, he'll do all the body work because I have no patience for body work. And so that's really what I'm waiting for most of that.
You consider yourself a car guy, right? I consider you a car guy. Like, how long have you been into cars, or have you always been into cars since you were 15? Is it kind of a father-son thing? And then, because I don't think you get out very often in car meets, which doesn't mean you're not a car person.
So that's actually more of a lately thing, not being a car meet. So yeah, I have always been into cars since I was, younger. My dad always had, older Mustangs, California Specials. He has a Model A, and he's always been a Ford person, so that's why I ended up finding the Mustang too and liking that. But yeah, just going over the years, learning more about other cars and liking different, not being stuck just on Ford, where I was for a while, actually.
Good for you.
And so find other cars, like other cars. But yeah, going to the car scene, I would actually used to go to car scene a lot. Once when my car was done.
Was that before I moved here? I moved here in 2014.
Oh yeah. Okay. I used to go to meets in Nevada, in Utah, and in Phoenix and Scottsdale. Always
sure,
go,
of course.
Go to pavilions when they were, starting. It was so cool to go to the pavilion.
Hey, hold on. By the way, I thought the Paz was done. Last weekend, I was getting gas on early Saturday, and there were old men set up in the MacDonald's parking lot. So the Rock and Roll Car Show is actually still going.
Going on, yeah.
I don't know if after 5:36 they're doing the whole PAVs thing, but I thought the whole thing was done.
No, I was reading about that, actually, that they stopped it for a while, then they brought it back, but you have to register, and they only had limited to so many cars now. That's what, and people were upset, so they wanted to try to find another place to do it. But yeah, before then, you used to go to that all the time. You used to go to World of Wheels down at the Phoenix Convention Center downtown. A bunch of Ford meets with the Mustang at Sanderson Ford, and getting older, working more. And then being the car wasn't in perfect shape like I loved it. Like I would just slowly kind of went away with it. And then a lot of friends didn't want to go either. That was
that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the last car event you went to?
Man, just that last one with you at the Highline Auto one.
Highline Auto, that was like 4 months ago.
that was the one.
Yeah, we got to go to Alpio's.
Yes. Yeah.
Alpio's is good. We'll have to check to see when it is and head out there. I did Highline Auto last weekend, and here's someone shuffling up. So if you guys hear noise in the background, because the party's still going on, and there's a ton of people still here, and there's a lot of kids yelling and screaming for no good reason. Well, what's one of your dream cars? Like, what's a car that you've always wanted that you just couldn't? It just was unobtainium for you.
It's funny you say that because I remember talking about this before. Was that Vector? Remember that WA? Like I love that car. Having a poster growing up, and I saw your picture. When you went to see it, and I was like, they're jealous of that. That was growing up as a kid, always wanting that one. But then as far as a newer car, it'd have to be, oh man.
It doesn't have to be a new car.
No, it would. It'd be one of those Pagani Huayras.
Pagani Huayra, yeah.
Yeah. Just so amazing.
I have an internet friend named Justin Choi, and he has a Punani, He's got a Pagani Huayra, and he has it parked next to a JDM NSXR, and then next to a Carrera GT Porsche.
Yeah.
With regard to the Vector, I talked about it on a recent episode, but not only did I go out to the guy's house and he gave me a tour of the car in his garage, but he gave me a ride in the car.
Really?
Yeah. So that was my first time ever. Did you see the one in Scottsdale last year?
No, I didn't. I've never seen one in person. No.
Yeah, dude. So my wingspan is pretty big. Okay. And last weekend when I was rolling to Saguaro Lake with some friends, I put my hands off the back of the NSX. And as wide as the rear of the NSX is, my fingertips probably protruded about 2.5 inches on both sides past the wing.
Okay.
The Vector W8, my fingertips were barely at the wing. That's how wide that car is.
Wide car, man.
Yeah, the car is wide as shit.
That's crazy. I think it's crazy.
Tell us about your Porsche and why the Porsche. I mean, I know that you wanted to get, like your wife said, get a good car, but for you personally, why the Porsche?
Back a while ago, before I met my wife, actually, my friend used to let me borrow his 996 Turbo on the weekend when he was out of town. He's like, "Hey, you want to borrow this weekend?" Absolutely. Like, why not?
Yeah, why? I mean, why would I
let me
not?
think about that one.
Yeah.
So and I liked it. It was, it was quick, very quick. And that was really the last time I drove a Porsche. And then when she brought it up, I should get one. Actually, because one of her friends had an SUV. I'm like, I'm not getting an SUV, obviously. And I saw it and I was looking for one, and I did want a turbo, but obviously that was out of my price range. I just wanted something that I could drive a lot often and not get me in trouble too much. And so I just decided on that Carrera S. There's some options I didn't want that I was looking for, and it's it takes a while when you're trying to find a car that's in the used market that something. I didn't want carbon ceramic brakes. I didn't want the single lug wheels. I didn't want a sunroof on. I was actually looking for a white one.
But here you are with a black one.
And I got the black one. They had all the options I wanted except it was black. I'm like, yeah. If not, I can wrap it. If not, So I picked that up and I love it. I mean, just the more you drive it, the more, change a couple things, personalize a little bit, change the wheels, lowered it, put the carbon wing on it, the rear diffuser, I changed it to the Army Tricks exhaust. And that's about it. I mean, there's really not much performance upgrades. It's pretty much maxed out for what it is. Put an intake on it, maybe the intake plenum and the air, the filters, and that's probably about it.
Couple more for you. So what do you think of the Arizona car scene, especially since you were in it before I moved here and you've kind of taken a back seat, but what is your, how would you describe it to people who've never been to Arizona?
Well, I mean, it can be big when when some of the meets they pop up, they can be big. And when I used to go to the car scenes before, it was actually on the west side, and castles and coasters, like the parking lot over by that mall. And it was very diverse there, and everybody seemed to be cool. They had, low riders and all the everything. Everything. And it was really cool back then, Today it's a little more, it seemed to be more limited in some stuff. And it's a lot of the newer stuff. I mean, you have to, you're coming up as an older crowd, older, like in older cars, you see some newer stuff, you like newer stuff. And then when the newer cars hit, it's hard to appreciate them, but you do. But it's just hard to, you want to see, you see a lot more newer cars, than the older classic stuff. So
you want to see a good mix, go to the modded culture car meets.
I've seen that, and I always miss that every time. I look up, I'm like, oh, that was last night. Dang it. So
it's always on a Friday.
It's on a Friday. Yeah.
It's always on a Friday. I've been to one.
They look pretty.
I'd like to go to more, but it's ran by really good people, and you're going to see the mix.
The mix
of vehicles. I think although Friday is it's kind of difficult for me. I don't know about you.
Friday just would be fine, actually. I could do it.
Yeah. But if I had an excuse, I'm if I told Yvette, hey, Jared wants to go to this car meet with me.
Let's go.
She was like, okay, good, go. Good. Yeah, you guys should do more together. Yeah, he's so quiet. He doesn't really talk to anybody. You should give him a call. That's what I hear all the time. Yeah. So how can people get a hold of you and follow your build? I mean, you're Jared Legendary on Instagram.
Yeah, that's where I have my cars, basically. They have the Porsche, the Mustang.
You have another one?
I do actually have my Loki 991 for just strictly for the Porsche. But it's really nothing much. It's just the Porsche pictures. That's about it.
So I'm looking at him kind of crazy because I don't think I knew that. Do I follow that?
No,
I don't think I know about it.
No, it's just this whole separate account. So I started back then. I kind of logged off. I don't really, but I probably should. When I do more stuff to it, I need to add more to it.
I'm feeling a little hurt right now. I feel kind of fucked up this whole time. It's always
I
Jared
still want
Legendary.
To put on that one. I use that one more often. So
is Jared Legendary kind of like the family fun whatever account?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd say that.
Like J Travels. My J Travels account is kind of like everything, and obviously NA2. Well, I actually changed it to J Finning from NA2 NSX because I don't know if I'm going to be driving an NA2 NSX forever. Right?
All right.
So.
So but the main account is just Jared Legendary. So I need to post more on that one.
All right, Jared, let's go back downstairs and have a couple more drinks, and let's get you some more food and more Dos Equis. Yeah, hey, real quick, this is a shitty joke. What's better than one Equis?
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. There you go. All right, man. As I mentioned in the opening, I had some thoughts on the new Acura TLX. I don't really pay attention to vehicles that much unless I'm in the market for one. Someone might say, hey, Jay, did you see the new Dodge Ram? And I may say, well, I notice things, but I may say, oh, is it the one with the new daytime running lamps that kind of go around the headlight? I haven't seen that before. Yes, that is the one. Oh, okay, yeah, I have seen it. But other than that, I don't really pay attention to new models and makes and stuff like that. I was actually really into cars when I was a kid, and now I'm just kind of I'm a car guy, but I don't really know what's going on half the time. So when I go to a Cars and Coffee or something, like Highline Autos Cars and Coffee, there'll be hypercars that show up, and sometimes I don't even know what the hell they are. And I'm the only one that doesn't know what they are because they're usually surrounded by people taking photos and video and shit like that. But so anyway, I'm getting on the highway the other day, and I'm looking, and I'm behind a car, and I go, oh, it's a really good looking car. Wow, and it's a new. I mean, I know what a TLX looks like, but the thing was, when you're up on one, a 2021, man, that's a really sharp looking car, because usually the exposure is the Type S, right? Everybody sees the Tiger Eye Pearl Type S, and beyond the color, and watching like Ryan Eversley do a video, I think on behalf of Continental Tires with Acura, I really don't know that much about the vehicle. It sounds great. It looks great. But when you're on the road and you're behind one, this one was white. I was like, man, that's a damn good looking car. And I've always been a fan of the TLX. They've had, for the most part, the exact same body by at least 90%, because there's always small changes for a handful of years. I guess since the rebirth of the TLX, I think they changed the grille up after the first or second year. The only one I've ever driven actually belonged to Peter Cunningham when I went up there to visit for a vintage car WeatherTech weekend. And my friend Jake and I kind of got to drive. Well, Jake drove his NSX, and I typically push the TLX around all weekend. And that was kind of cool. It was white. And I thought it was nice. But other than that, that's my only exposure to the TLX. And seeing these, it's like, wow, that thing's really nice. I looked it up on Edmunds, and the most popular model or trim is the base model at $42,000. But I probably would get the SH all-wheel drive version, sports handling all-wheel drive version, at $47,000. And of course, the Type S that Tyson Hugie has is $54,000, pretty much. So maybe I can get Tyson on here, or my friend Ira on here, to tell us a little bit about their Acura TLX Type S. But it's a great looking car. So if you guys see one out on the road, like, check it out. It is. I'm not sure what Acura is doing, and you guys know I'm a big fan of the brand, but I have yet to see any of these cars break in with crazy good reviews across the board. And this one came in at number 8 under the small luxury sedan, which means there's 7 small luxury sedans that graded higher. So I'm not quite sure what's into that. 7.6 out of 10 expert rating. But that's the 2021 TLX. I would like to check one out. Maybe I could test drive one at some point. It would be nice it would be nice to rent one, except for, Acura doesn't do fleet rentals. So you can't rent one unless it's churro in the continental United States, maybe over in Hawaii. So with that being said, I want to thank NSXTRA Chris Cutt for joining the show and sharing with us his Norm MacDonald story. It's kind of cool, right? Because when you go out and you see these celebrities, and like if you go to see Norm MacDonald, before he passed, at a comedy show, sometimes I'll hang out and take pictures with people, shake their hand, but you don't really get any cool interaction other than the memory of having a photo. It's like, hey, I took this photo with Norm MacDonald. Or for instance, I have 2 photos with Jay Leno, and people say, oh, wow, you know Jay Leno? How is he? And I'm like, look, Jay Leno doesn't know me. He just happened to be there when I said, hey, Jay, take a photo. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's take a photo. But the interaction that he had, and Norm MacDonald's not going to remember that, but to me, bumping into him, Chris and his, then girlfriend, drunk at a casino, Norm MacDonald drunk at a casino, and helping kind of navigate him to where they wanted to go, or he wanted to go. That's a hell of a memory. I'm glad Chris was able to share that moment with Norm MacDonald. So Norm MacDonald, rest in peace. Also, thank you, Jared Legendary, for coming by the studio. I kind of forced him up here, but we had a lot of fun. I want to thank Wright Honda out of Scottsdale, Arizona, higher quality detailed out of Tempe, Arizona, boosterbath.com, FoolOnline.com, ToneTrees.com, and Cell Shop Wireless Services, The Credit Mix, and Patreon business supporter Kuya Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida. For those of you in a position to help the podcast grow, you can join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Get access to bonus audio as well as show swag. That's patreon.com, HardParkingPodcast. You can email me at hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at jfinning, that's JHAEPFENNING, or JTravels, that's JHAE_travels. Join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group. Shout out to Red Goodman for always finding cool stuff to post on that page. I wish the rest of you would engage more with those posts. Finally, I can't grow without you telling the world how great the show is, so let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. Got some big surprises coming up as guests. So I'll talk to you all next week.
No! now it's stripping time.
Shut up!
Hey, this is Levi Epps, hashtag Mr. Financial Freedom of the Credit Mix, here with a special offer for Hard Parking Podcast fans. If you've been living with less than perfect credit for having evictions, late payments, bankruptcies, doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that negatively impacts your credit score and you're not able to get approvals for certain things, or maybe you got to pay large deposits and high interest rates, we don't want that to be you anymore. We have a program that will legally get negative items off of your credit report and keep them off. And we have a special code for a free consultation to see if we can help you. Text HP Credit to 737-4CREDIT. That's HP Credit to 737-427-3348. Let's get you back on the road to financial freedom.
Are you tired of blowing out your back at the bathtub while washing your dog, or subjecting your canine to a water torture bath while leashed up to a post outside? Now there's a far more effective way to wash your pet while saving your back and keeping your dog happy. It's called Booster Bath, a portable bathtub on legs. Head over to boosterbath.com, one word, and pick one up. Available in 3 sizes, this tub system features a drain, a soap cubby, and water-controlling wand. This tub conveniently breaks down to be stored when not in use. Want to save 10% on your first-time purchase? Head over and sign up today to make that happen. boosterbath.com.